Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Itai. It's such a pleasure to be here once again. This is a brand new week, this is a brand new month, and we're excited to be alive. We're excited to be here, and of course, to be in your face, right in your face. This is the 3rd of May 2021, and I'm streaming from Lagos, Nigeria to Africa, West Africa in particular, Africa, and then, of course, to the entire world. It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. On Mondays, we say it. Tuesdays, we say it. Wednesdays, we say it. Thursdays, we say it. Guess what? Fridays, we say it. All through the week, we are here live Mondays to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And even most times on public holiday, you find us here. We do all our best to make sure that we give you the best within the world and around the world of education. It's always a pleasure to be here. We have fantastic analysts on the show who are always revving, getting set to do what? To be a part of the show. And you know what our analysts do? They share their views, they share their thoughts, they share their expertise, they also share their experience on the subject matter that we have for the day. And today will not be different. Even though it's a public holiday, we'll try as much as possible to bring you a fantastic experience the same day. And listen to me, if you are streaming for the first time, joining us for the first time, please do let us know. Tell us your name, tell us your location, where you're streaming from, and we'd like to appreciate you. We'd like to celebrate you for joining the show. And for our faithful tribe members, thank you once again for always being there. For those who are seeing the replay, well, please listen carefully and, of course, glean from the wisdom that you can. Please ensure that you subscribe to my channel and the YouTube channel, and of course the channel of all the analysts. Share the videos, like the videos, tell others about the Good Morning Education Show. It's going to be a great time on the show. And on the show, we always spend time to look at news, upcoming events, and then we dive into the subject of the matter. We don't intend to take too much of your time today, but we will coast along and have a great experience on the Good Morning Education Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, and once again, I say welcome. Let me bring on board Dr. Fee on the road. Fee, follow, good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to the Good Morning Education Tribe, and good morning to Tayo. It's a pleasure to be back here this morning. Happy Workers' Day holiday. Happy Labor Day holiday to all the workers out there. We recognize your work, we recognize your contribution, and we say yes, thank you for all you do. Welcome to the show this morning.
All right. Thank you for that. And I hope your bumpy ride does not shake out all the calories inside of you. So yes. So we're gonna be sharing a nice conversation today, and pretty much we're talking about something that I'm sure you've also heard about before. It's actually centered on not just the recent happenings, but on the need for us to be able to balance our ability to say that we have gone through an education or we've gotten an education, and piece of this, we've also been a part of the schooling system. And so we'll be speaking of social intelligence today. But before then, I would like us to do our usual. Let's talk about news within and around the world of education. Are there things that you want to share? Are there things on top of your mind? Are there things that you want to bring to bear? This is the opportunity to do that very quickly.
Okay, so for me, what is driving right now is the Business Accelerator Talk, and that's what is driving right now. This morning, we'll be having a gathering of entrepreneurs, business leaders, professionals in the field, gathering together for the Business Accelerator Talk on Lagos Island, Lekki, Lagos. So, well, is it too late to say people should register? I think it's too late, but you can check for other cities in your other cities close to you, register, book a seat, and you don't want to miss this. It's all part of us educating ourselves, giving our businesses wings to fly.
All right. So since you decided to take the cat out of the bag now and beat me to it, well, you heard it. We've spoken about it already. Myself and someone that I call friend and brother, but a very good expert in the field of management consulting. And business and life strategy. His name is Steve Harris. We will be kickstarting a business accelerator masterclass series starting with Lagos, and that masterclass series is starting this morning. So we're starting in Lagos Island, which is more or less saying we're starting in Lekki. So from Lekki, we're moving the train to Benin, and then from Benin, we're going to Abuja. From Abuja, we're going to Port Harcourt. So we're having 4 locations this week, and then the week after, then we'll be having Lagos mainland. Today we're having Lagos in terms of Lekki. We'll be having Lagos mainland. We'll be having Calabar. We'll be having Ibadan. We will also be having Uyo as well. And that's 8 locations. And don't be surprised that there might be some pockets of location that we did not announce that might just get some level of visitation. And I want to tell you for a fact that we have surprises. Some people don't know we're going to have some guest appearances in some of the locations. And for those who are outside Nigeria, we've made provisions for you. We are having a special series of webinar, I think about 2 or 3 for those in Europe, Asia, Africa, and of course, America. We will be having webinars, and you will have opportunity to have myself, Steve Harris, and all the MBT coaches. I'm sure you've heard of MBT before, but if you want to know more about MBT, look up on Steve Harris or send me a DM, send me a direct message, and then you get to know about that. But now we are back on the Good Morning Education Show, and we have our lovely, very pretty, smiley friend, always safety conscious indeed. Her name is Ugochi Obidego, but we also call her as the Safety Chick. Safety Chick, good morning to you today.
Good morning, Mr. Rotimi. Good
With all the
morning,
hype, I thought
Fee.
you'd
Good
have been dealing
morning
with
to
laughter and smiles.
amazing listeners.
With all the hype,
What?
Safety Chick, come on, come on. Let me confess it. Let me confess a sin. I want to confess a sin. Should I confess?
Okay, I'm listening.
You didn't say I should confess. Say you're listening. Should I confess?
Yeah, I'm listening. Oh, yeah,
So
confess.
I went for a short trip. I went for a short trip to Abuja, and when I was going, I
Mm,
went with Airpeace. Coming back on Saturday, I came through Aero. So while I
okay.
was trying to go in, I had my ID card on, and then
Yeah.
there's the one of the air hostess before I could pass. I think someone was trying to put his luggage on the compartment, and then she was just looking at my. I think maybe because of the lanyard, she was looking at the ID card, maybe trying to get the name or whatever and all that. So I looked at her. I almost
Mm.
said, "Oh, you know me, right? I'm Ugochi Scott there." Something just pass well, pass well. You don't know whether this one was not Timugochi, or whether she doesn't even know you. I don't know my peace. I said, you know what, I'll pass. All right. So I was almost looking for ways to farm. Like, yeah, I know you guys. I know you guys. Typical. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So that's it. Sometimes you go to places and you keep looking for who you know that you could easily identify with. Say that do you know so person, we're very good friends, Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so welcome to the holiday edition of the Good Morning Education Show. And today we'll be treating social intelligence. But before then, we'll just take 1 or 2 headlines. We've just talked about the Business Accelerator Masterclass taking place. For businesses across sectors, education businesses, normal businesses, manufacturing businesses, whatever the business is, whatever the sector or industry is, we're going to be having a great time together. But people have to register, and it's all littered across social media. It's on my Facebook page, it's on my Instagram page. Guess what? It's even on my LinkedIn as well. So please make sure that you make your way down to those platforms or send me a direct message so that you can be a part of it. But then we also have other news. The School Safety Summit is just around the corner. And I remember, Ugochi, you shared with us the link the last time, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yes. So to register for the School
Hello,
Safety
sir.
Summit, yeah. So to register, you need to click the School Safety. Wait, is this School Summit Safety? There's an error on that. It's meant to be the
No.
School Safety Summit.
Schoolsafetysummit.net.
Okay. So people need to Let me just edit that. Schoolsafetysummit.net. Yes. So everyone should make up their mind to be a part of this. This is the fifth edition, and a child of five, of course, obviously, is a grown child. So please ensure that you are a part of this experience. Schoolsafetysummit.net. Just go on to register. Tell somebody to tell somebody. And if you're watching the replay right now, what we want you to do is to take that link, share it to your link, share it to your sphere of influence. Let everybody be a part of this. You're going to be learning so many things from this year's edition. We have a variety of sessions. I will be there, and some other exciting personalities and experts will be there. We're having someone also all the way from the US also going to be there. And of course, Safety Chick has to be there. I mean, if you're not there, there's no summit. But
I mean, there's
all
no
right,
summit.
so okay, so let's just treat this particular news. It says unit just shot student hostels over security threats.
Well, it's I I believe that everybody's now becoming more alert because of what's going on around the country. So if they've done their evaluations and they see that this is the best course of action to take, then by all means, I'm with them because um I don't think it's good that we would keep hearing about stories of children dying in school or getting kidnapped. It's not good for the psyche of parents, or even the teachers themselves, because no one feels safe. So if they've
Mm.
done their due diligence and they feel that this is the best course of action to take because they will not have the right resources to protect these children if there is a breach, then I'm with them.
But you see, this is where we now remember. You know, there was a time, sometime last year, towards the end of last year, that it was like universities were against going online. You know, and they're talking about it from the angle of it's not possible, they're not doing this, the blah blah blah. Then the strike was what we're still feasting on. But now, another word that starts with S is replacing the effect of strike or no strike, which is security. So if you're on strike or you're not on strike, security is a bit more of an urgent and paramount thing. And that's when people realize that, look, because if school has to go on, then definitely there has to be an alternative experience where students are not in hostel, but students are not out of school. And it's becoming a big issue because someone in a group where I kind of lead a coaching group, um they had an experience from one of their family members. They were robbed, and they took away a lot of things. And guess what? The people said it's a remote area far away in Zaria. The people were speaking proper English, not pidgin English, not local dialect.
Mm,
They speak proper English, and so they were saying that with the way they were, though they were drunk and they had information, they had everything, though they were drunk, and after carrying out their operation, it was to them that these guys are learned people. They are not, there are people that you might think they didn't go to school. These guys obviously
yeah.
graduate. So it's possible. It's possible. And to say that, oh, so it means that people who probably are educated or still being educated, if they get to be too idle, they can turn into vices that we don't want. And that's part of the fallout
Absolutely.
of some of these things. That because what would you want to do with a student? Let's say, I'm not saying they are students, but let's say they are students, and now they are now thrown out of school because of fear of security. Their program is on hold. They probably don't have much to do at home. There's restlessness, and they're not with their colleagues. They probably bonded with their colleagues than bonded with family, or they don't even have a very school was even more saner than staying at home. Think about the negative thing that could happen after a week or 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they are home. Some of them probably are exposed to use of alcohol. Sometimes some of them are introduced to drugs. These things sometimes leads to social vices, and you now be thinking about it that the government is thinking of terrorists, bandits now. if the citizenry becomes the terrorist, what do you want to do? Nigeria is not a plane that you can say, yeah, let's carry Nigeria from this geographical location. We are moving from West Africa. We're going to East Africa. You can't move the country because the country is fixed. So it's just it's getting hydra-headed in nature, and I think that the authorities need to look at it, because if people get too frustrated, they begin to do things they are not meant to do. They say the idle mind becomes, what they normally say. All right, so um, let's see another element of the news. Okay, so there's a lady. It says Nigerian teen gets 19 scholarships offer 19 scholarship offer worth 5 million US dollars. Is it US dollars or 5 million naira?
It should be dollars. It should be
Should be dollars.
dollars.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, $5 million. No. Hey, are you sure that girl is not related to me? I think I have a cousin somewhere. But scholarships are not necessarily cash, so you cannot do anything about that. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Tosi Lady G, for joining us on the show today. Um, so, Ugochi,
Yes, sir.
I think this is that time where we need to talk about your fundraising stuff again. So, you want to talk about it now?
Okay, so I got admission for a 2-year program in New York University, and I've been offered a $20,000 scholarship. But that amount is not enough because it's a 2-year program and there is still so much that needs to be covered. So, in order to raise the rest, I'm currently running a public GoFundMe campaign calling on Nigerians to donate as little as 1,000 naira or $2.50. And this can be done either through the GoFundMe campaign link, which has been shortened to bit.ly, Ugochi gets into NYU, or a direct bank transfer to Zenith Bank. Yes. And the reason this is important is the New York University is a school that is largely hinged on social impact, and they make use of a multidisciplinary approach. And I believe that going to study there is going to help me to be equipped with more knowledge, with the right network that would also contribute to the work I do in raising safety consciousness and in the social development space. So I'm appealing to everyone. We're trying to reach 40,000 Nigerians to do at least 1,000 naira. As at last time I checked, we've been able to raise about 2.2 million and over $2,300. And we're looking to more people to support this cause. Ugochi gets into NYU.
Oh, that's
Yes, so we're looking to
okay.
more people to support. Let
Is it
me see if
L
I
or
can type
N?
that in the comments.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
type
Type
that
it in the
for
private
you.
chat. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. So basically that's it about the GoFundMe drive.
Okay, so there you get it. We're going to send the link. Once Kochi sends the link, I'm going to share it. But please let everyone understand that this is an opportunity to actually, show that you care, show that you also want to encourage people who have been giving. Ugochi has actually spent more than 5 years, impacting the social space, especially with the space of education. And I think that it's not out of place for us to also give back to those who give. And sometimes we are not talking about giving personal gift for consumption, but this is a gift for progression. This is a gift to advance what she's doing. And I think that if you're out there, 1,000 naira, we're looking for 40,000 people to give 1,000 naira. And if you're that kind of person, you can give more than 1,000 naira. Don't say because you had 1,000 naira. Give, and as it is, it will be given back to you. There's some people that can give 50,000 naira. Some people can give 100,000 naira. Some people can give 500,000 naira. don't look at the money or the amount, look at the value and the impact that you get in return. And as we do that, it's going to be a lot more easier. And of course, it's not just through that alone. We also have the the opportunity for you, if you don't want to go through that route, you could also give to the cause directly via Zenith Bank. So you could transfer, make a deposit to Ugochi's account, be it the link for the crowdfunding, or you want to go straight to direct transfer. This is our account details: Ugochi Obidego, and 208-589-4073, Zenith Bank. You definitely will be doing a great deal. And of course, if you don't want to be mentioned, just let us know. Send us a message. You want to stay anonymous, and if you don't mind being mentioned, of course, to whom honor is due, we do give honor. Thanking you for the support of the stream. On the Good Morning Education Show, we'll try as much as possible to always share this so that this can be something that everyone can be a part of. She's one of us, and we support our own. And on that note, we move on to welcoming a rare guest that we should not take for granted for our being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls at home, we have in the building the one and only. If you listen to her, you feel like floating away into the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Rhoda Odigbo.
Hurting me, but why?
You see,
You're welcome back.
that voice, if you have anger issues, just talk to Rhoda for 1 week. You don't need therapy. The voice is therapy.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness, Rotimi. Oh, it's so good to be here. I don't know. It's been a, I don't know, a whirlwind of weeks for me, but I don't even know when. But I'm grateful. Let me put it this way: but just generally grateful, but just not having, not being on the Good Morning Education Show is like when a child is missing the mother, you know. But I'm glad to have an opportunity to join today. Happy Workers' Day, team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you. Thank you.
mm.
Okay, so today,
Ugochi, I wanted to say something quickly.
okay,
Um,
yeah.
to everyone listening, Ugochi is a superior quality human being. I mean, I know Rotimi had mentioned a lot about how we should support her, and it's not just the support; it's just what she's going to, the value that Ugochi brings to the table, and the value that she's going to even bring more with this project that she's going to embark on. It's when you find somebody who is capable of not just delivering value, but ensuring that the community outreach part of that value is extensive. This is who Ugochi is. So I'm lending my voice to it, to the cause, and I'm saying, everybody, please, please, if you do nothing, if you're tithing, Ugochi is a member of that tithe. Go and then just invest in her, because you would definitely see the value and the returns from it, especially within your communities and for your children and for the generations to come. So please do that.
I like that. I like
Thank you
that.
so much.
Oh, that's what we know. Say, oh, Ro, I need to see Ro. Rhoda, you're denying me of seeing you. I'm not seeing you this year. I'm not
No,
sure I've
I
seen you
am
this
not. No, we haven't, and we have to see. I'm
year.
chasing after you, but spiritually. My anyway.
Okay, all right. So, have you heard of the Business Accelerator Masterclass?
In fact, I've heard of the Business Accelerator of Masterclass. I've heard of Ginger Me. In fact, when I said I was chasing after you spiritually,
Oh,
you don't get it.
Yeah,
You don't
ginger
get it. You're not getting
me.
this
Ginger
month,
Me.
this month, they are firing from all cylinders. They've not seen it.
All cylinders.
This month,
That's all.
All
another
cylinder.
announcement is this morning, and I was this afternoon, another announcement. Don't worry, I'll be keeping quiet. Now we have time.
Let's
every
get
day
loud.
of this month. Every day of this month. We've gotten permission from the one who gives permission and says, oh yeah, go. Let them hear. So don't
Yes,
worry.
sir.
This month I'm going to be having Let's Talk Business every day, I think, except for Thursdays, every day of the week, 7 p.m. And then, of course, on Tuesdays, I'll be having a special series on facing your business fears. I'm going to be releasing some books that I've been keeping secret for a while. This morning, I'm going to release another book, and another book is also going to happen. So this week is going to be back to back. And there's something that, don't worry, I'll keep that one to offline. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay.
And there's a special person that we have here. Oh, thank you, Onye. Thank you. Wow, I call that Africa's foremost giftpreneur or gift and surprise entrepreneur. So if you're looking at surprising anyone or giving gifts or buying merchandise and stuff like that, please holler at Onye. She's a great person, very good entrepreneur, very bright and of course pleasant to talk with and share and do business with. So please hook her up and then have a great experience with her. Thank you for joining the show. So we're talking about, I'm sure social intelligence is one of the topics that Rhoda loves to hear or talk about. Social intelligence, right? Um, so we're going to start with Finn, and then I'm coming back to Rhoda, and then I'm coming to Gucci. So when we say social intelligence, for people out there, I'm sure they've heard of emotional intelligence, they've heard of academic intelligence. So what exactly do we mean by social intelligence? From Finn to Rhoda. So Finn, over to you. Finn, are you there? Okay. Rhoda, do you want to take?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, social science. You're so totally correct with the fact that this is a topic that is really close to my heart. And even not just yesterday and a couple of days, I think I was having this conversation with friends and colleagues, and I found out that whilst I was discussing, I realized that one of the missing links for many professionals, to be honest, is social intelligence. There is emotional intelligence, and a lot of people are catching up to that. And then that's the whole part of emotional intelligence, umbrella, sorry, of emotional intelligence comes social intelligence, which it's like I said, is the missing link for a lot of people. I've been dealing with trying to galvanize the team, trying to take away any element of toxicity within of the organization. And one of the ways that I figured out was, and it's not to say that one hasn't known, but sometimes, you have this aha moment, the things happen, and then you say, this is exactly what is missing. And it is this thing where you are tackling it today, which is social intelligence. I mean, anybody can Google and just know what it is. And in straightforward, in simple words, it's just really capacity to know oneself and to know others in a social setting. That is, and anytime that we use the word social, it's basically saying man and in relation with his environment. So the environment, the people that you work with. So it's a people thing. Let me put it that way in a summary. It's a people experience, and it's basically that's where it develops from. So social intelligence basically develops from people experience. And so if you know yourself and you know others, you're more likely to be socially intelligent, meaning that you're more likely to relate with them in a better way, whether it's for conflict management, problem solving, team building. Um, um, what's the word? I can't think of other things right now. But you know how we say someone is street smart. Yes, it's an element of
That's
social
the word.
intelligence. Someone you have street math, yeah. Or that when you say, do you have common sense? That's where it comes to as well. So that's basically, what it is. Having that tact, having that gift of, of being able to tell. When they say before someone speaks, like someone like what I always say, I always read what someone. I tell my son all the time. If you're good at knowing what someone did not say, yeah, you're socially intelligent because you've read every body language,
That's
inclusive
what I
of
wanted to say.
nuances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inclusive of nuances. So just being able to read what the person did not say,
Yeah.
you're definitely on your way. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so profound. A very good introduction for anyone listening to us on the show, listening to what we're talking about. Rhoda, you've actually painted the best of pictures. And there's something I heard somewhere from a mutual friend. And when I thought about it, it kind of gave me that feeling of wow, I never saw it from this perspective. But I think it's a bit true. And I'm going to ask Ugochi that question. And the fact is that the person said that, that there's a sad reality that he's discovered. And I think I'm sharing that ideology. I don't know about you, but Ugochi, have you noticed? He said that when people go through school and they come out of school, they know almost everything but themselves. It's like school has a way of raising people to know a lot about everything. You know about math, you know about English, you know about PE, you know about sports, you know about current affairs, you know about government, you know about physics. But a lot of times, the more we know about those other things, the less we know about ourselves. Is that true? And if it's true, why is that so?
Okay, so I think I don't have a yes or no answer to that question. I'll rather say that it depends because I know that we have two categories of students. You know, this thing that you normally say that don't just go through school, allow school to
They
go
should
through
pass
you.
through you.
Yes, yes, allow school to go through you, right? And some students, because they've been told, you must pass in the university, don't be focused, be focused. So they think being focused is just the academic bit of things. They do not understand that in the course of engaging in other activities in school, maybe you are part of all these youth organizations. It makes you know things about yourself, because many times it's when you get involved in other activities that you might now discover that there are things you know how to do that you probably didn't even know until you were set in a particular context. And so we have the students who come to school, as much as they are doing the academic bits of things, it's either they're getting involved in sports or in other youth activities and youth groups in school, so that it's developing the other aspects of themselves. And then we have those who were just triangular, just from school to class,
Oh,
from class maybe
that
to place
church
of
or
worship,
something.
and then back home. And then back home. So for such people, then you would see that they might get the academic bits of things, but they may not really know other talents and giftings that they have, because they've not allowed that part of themselves to be explored. And that's why it's a great thing that now there's such an influx of knowledge and personal development trainings, because people can now go on Instagram live, listen to a coach Rotimi Eitayo, or can take part in an online course or an accelerator program, and then you see other perspectives. And that's the advantage a lot of students in the universities have today. They are in school, but they are also privy to all these other programs going on. And so they are able to get from both sides, which enables them to become well-rounded by the time they'll be graduating from school. So I would say that it's a function of the individual. If you decide to look at the things in your environment and decide to grow, fine. If you also decide, no, you just want to be a one-track person, it's also your responsibility, because at the end of the day, nobody's really going to chase you around with a cane to develop yourself. It's a personal responsibility.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the next question. I hope he is ready to answer this question. And what role can parents play, or what role do parents play when it comes to social intelligence, especially for their kids and children around them? Finn, that question is to you. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. For parents, what we find these days is there's a lot of pampering, covering of the kids. We don't want them to go out. We don't, because yes, there's a security issue. Yes, but there is a level of independence that we should also let kids have, so that they're able to interact, to relate with others. They're able to learn how to they're able to learn how to socialize with others, and most especially so that they're not taken for granted, so that they're not cheated rather by their mates. I'm not sure if you're hearing me clearly, but yeah, that's going to be my very short piece on that.
Thank you so much. Rhoda,
I'd
do you
like
want
to jump.
to
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
add
definitely. My parents have been one for 15 years. So see, the first level here is that parents themselves need to know themselves. To be honest, I had conversations with this past week. It's almost as if, Rotimi, you were in the spirit when you were thinking of this topic today, because this past week has been a lot of do I know myself conversations around people. And I'm talking about adults here, like people who in their 40s, 30s, people who have, advanced in their business, in their career path. And people still asking themselves, do I really know myself? So for parents, I would say know yourself, because once you know yourself, because that discovery in itself helps you to do better with your kids. That's one thing I'd say. Now, for parents who have known themselves, I mean, there's a way to teach social intelligence. It's not always very simple. It's not always very straightforward, because with every human being comes their own nature, and then you have to now the whole dynamics of, okay, how does this person relate with another person? How does that person relate with the other person? What does this person know that they really want to do with their lives? But I would say for parents that the first thing for me is having a home of embrace. Because we see when kids can't talk to you, when kids feel like you're judgmental on everything that they do, or that it's everything they say is a shout down, they don't have an opinion, then first of all, the home has to be one that everybody has an opportunity to express themselves. See, when the home is a place of expression, and the same thing goes for schools. When Odugochi was talking, that was what is in my head. I've often said that if school does not help somebody to find the expression of themselves, what their true person is, which is why the curriculum should always be wide. That's why I frown at schools that have curriculums that are very limited, or that have curriculum delivery that's limited. Because if you're going to teach a concept and you cannot have children express that concept in multiple ways, you are sure missing out a group of people who cannot express themselves. The one who is an art, who is more creative, and if all he does is copy notes and write tests, you have lost that person. If the one who likes to be hands-on, if all he does in exploring the concept is also doing that, maybe drawing another, if there's one who's a project manager and somebody who likes to put things together, if all he does is another type of thing. So that's it. Finding this place of the home has to be, first of all, be a place of expression. The kids can find expression with you. They can come to you and say what they want, and then you can now build up from there and look at and create scenarios at home. Like when there's a problem at home and there's something to solve it, you have to bring everybody together. My son he was signed up to Daddy Posh's and Fela Doroto's session. And one of the things Fela said, he was so profound, because it's the kind of thing I've been saying to my son. I said, you would always leave, so anywhere you go, leave it better than the way you found it. Right. And then sometimes you create the scenarios at home, and even on your own, intentionally make a mess as a parent, because you want it to be a learning period, a time. There's a phrase I used to use for it, a teaching moment. So you create the scenarios at home, and intentionally doing it for them to solve a problem, or for them to unscramble how to solve a problem. And once children are part of the opinion of this problem solving, things at home, and they see the relationship and dynamics between themselves and their siblings and you, they begin to learn how things. So sometimes I'll say to my son, he will ask me a question and I'll answer, and I say, "What do you think I did not say?" And then he'll say, and he will say, it's a pause moment for him, and he reflect. I think you did not say X, Y, Z, everything. I said, okay, good, spot on. So that's for me, the place of expression, and they have to have multiple, like the way we say it in Universal Design for Learning, UDL. We say multiple forms of expression. That must be evident at home and also in school.
Wow. I think what you said, you're speaking to all of us, because sometimes I don't know how, sometimes just the desire of perfection, or that desired result, you want things to come out prime and proper. We're so engrossed in that sometimes we shut people out. How can we prevent or avoid this kind of reality? Because of course, think about it. Like you said, schools and homes should be a place of expression. A lot of times, schools take on the personality of the administrator or the educators there. What you said last year, I was in a training with some participants in a particular state, and I was speaking to the principals and heads of schools, both in junior, senior, and primary. And I asked them, I said, what if, for example, you came to school and you told your students to um, take part in the rendition of the national anthem, and somebody says no, why should we? And the moment I asked that question, guess what? Those of them said
I can
that
only imagine.
we said she had to say it in Yoruba because there was no response in English. She said, "Oh, bida," meaning that they didn't want the all went, just went and scattered.
Who
And
boy
it's like,
you?
you know, I said you should sing that song. They said why? She didn't.
OMG.
And, and I said, but is that a question? They say yes. I said, can students ask questions in your school? Any question? Say yes, any question. So, what category is that particular question? That is that? No. See, that said me. Yeah, you know the way you're saying
Oh,
me. You're already seeing the profile of my age, a child, me.
Niger.
so, so
Mhm.
that's just to tell you that if that can happen in a training class where I'm even trying to simulate something, I think
Exactly.
yeah, you don't know these children. I said you don't know these children. Well, the truth is they don't know the children themselves. So how do we encourage that either in the curricular framework or in the culture? Because I think we in Africa we tend to take on this unspoken rule that a child cannot really converse. That kind of once a child begins to talk to you like the way you are saying it, listening to how you're talking about, I'm even, I'm loving your experience of how you talk with your son. Some people will call that disrespect.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So how do we? I don't know. I don't know.
It's
Have you
not.
experienced something like that?
See, I won't lie to you. There are moments when my son, would say certain things to me, and I'm like, this boy, this is not disrespect. In my head, I'm just like, this thing feels like disrespect. And so I'll check it with him. I'm like, I don't understand. Did you just try to disrespect me? He said, oh, mom. No, that conversation will happen. But he's a very respectful child, very respectful of people, respectful of I don't know, Rotimi, you met him now. So he tries
Yes.
to, so I check himself out with people. He tries to be, and then he's not him trying to do it. It's just like it's kind of like who is becoming, and I'm glad that I'm seeing it as a becoming because I don't want it to be a final journey. So yeah, I mean it's easy to interpret it as disrespect, but I always try to tell my friends, and anybody that I can share with. I'm like, you have to ask yourself what's disrespectful about it, because sometimes, Rotimi, when we think about it, even the dynamics within partners, like my friends and I were talking yesterday, and then they said, you don't, you can't, no wife should or husband, vice versa, should should have their happiness completely reliant on their partner. That is wrong. You're putting everything on the table of the partner. It is how does your happiness, how is it tied to your partner? And so that's the challenge, because when happiness is not tied to that, or what you can become is tied to another person, you're putting so much pressure on that person. And that all that competition was like, you know I'm here, I'm trying to figure out who I am, and then I'm looking at my child, and your child is also trying to figure out who he is as in his own journey. And then when you look at it, it's like, okay, why is this thing annoying you? Did this child say something wrong? Like, why is it annoying you now? Is someone in that scenario you painted? Okay, well, be that, you're like, but wait, so what did they say that's wrong? Like, they just ask a question. Anybody, can you ask a question? And then they ask a question and it's a problem, because what you should do in earnest is to deep dive into that question and say, you know what, I think I understand what you're saying, but let's talk about it. And then look, I am all for the African experience. My son always comes back and say, African parents. I say, yes, we are who we are. But it doesn't stop the conversation. It's all about the conversation. I mean, Gochi, what do you think? It's all about the conversation.
Good job. I'm sure he's
Yes,
laughing.
totally. Totally. Seriously, there's that temptation to feel like these children that they don't have respect, but if we also try to be very objective, if we also try to be objective, you can also see when they're actually should I say, being honest about the situation, because they will be able to actually tell you something others may not say.
Mm.
Yes. So they might be able to give you feedback that others might, feel somehow about saying to you. And then, of course, there may be times when they are just being naughty, but it takes you as the adult being intentional to just, think through and say, okay, so why would this child say this? What exactly is the situation? What am I not seeing? When you now look at things from several perspectives, you might now you can actually make a better decision as to, is a child being funny, or is it that whatever it is you did was actually wrong, or I was out of taste, basically. Yes. So I am with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. This Oluwa's question is really key because how do we marry culture and expression? Because at the end of the day, this whole expression bit of social intelligence is so key.
So let me
And
let me let me
yeah,
mention something about culture and expression very briefly. So every time my other sister is in the US, right? So every time we are doing a video call, she'll call her daughter and say, "Mama, say hi." And the little girl will come and say hi. So and we will be hiing back to her, smiling. And it wasn't a big deal to me because I knew that, it's American and now you get so it wasn't a big deal. And then yesterday, some of my colleagues, my previous colleagues from Aero, who are now in Canada, we did a video call together. And my colleague, one of my friends, the lady, she was telling her son, say hi. So everybody outside the country is teaching their children to say hi, and we're all fine saying hi. But when you now come here and you tell
Eh,
grandma hi,
eh, eh,
exactly. They'll be like, you don't have respect. But
eh.
if they were at the
The
other side, they will
highway.
also say
mm,
hi and smile back.
Ah,
exactly. So what happens?
mm,
It's almost like bigotry. It's really, really annoying to see that because you see, it's not in the high that someone will respect you or not. I mean, we know these things. So the
Exactly.
whole culture and expression thing, is something that we need to manage. Like I said, whenever I smell it, smell something that still looks like disrespect, I discuss it. I'm like, son, did you just try to disrespect me now right now? I said, Mom, I could never. And that conversation leads into more things. And so that's the thing. Until you draw the line on what you consider disrespect, and you say, well, if you speak to me in that tone, that's wrong. If you speak to me, I will not accept this. And there are consequences to you speaking to me in that tone. Those are those things. And that's how you do it. And before you know it, you get to the point where your child actually understands the borderlines, not to the assumption, shut up, this, all those things don't work. So,
I
I mean, I think
remember. Hello?
yeah, okay. I thought you wanted to say something. I wanted to say go into like ways. I mean, I'm sure I know we're going to discuss it, but go into ways that people can develop social intelligence.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is that I mean, a lot of people were wondering, listening, and like, okay, so how do I do it? One thing that I know has worked for me is always putting myself, especially in the place of work, in the workplace, even at home, is to put myself in the other person's shoes. That has always worked for me. I always think, how is this person feeling about this? And whenever I get there, what happens is that again conversations begin because I then say, okay, I understand you. Let me understand a little more. Maybe I'm confused. Once you have that mindset to want to ask that question, immediately you open the doors for you to dive into that person and dive into even making that person understand what your main goals are. So putting yourself in other people's shoes, then trying to, like I said earlier, like find out invisible interconnections, things that people are not saying. Just watch body language and their nuances. All that non-verbal behavior is one. But one thing that I've also done, Rotimi, is to keep track of my own feelings. In this whole world of social intelligence, keeping track of my own feelings. Sometimes when I get so upset about things and I'm trying to figure it out, or I'm trying to understand why am I having this difficulty, whether it's a workplace or us coming with a solution or trying to design a proposal, why are we contrasting or contradicting ourselves? Why do we have a conflict? What is my own in this place? That I keep track of my own feelings and say, well, why do you not think that this person is making sense? And why do you not think them? Have all those kinds of conversations have been helpful to me. So I'm just kind of like sharing my own story.
Oh, that's good. Because a lot of times it might actually be us that needs the fixing, not the students, children, or the other person in the room. If you keep track of your feelings, you might know whether you're a bit touchy, whether you're not tolerant at that moment. So it's almost like transferred aggression and the likes. So very important to keep track of our feelings. What you were when you were talking. I remember when I was in SS1. You know, there's a man that was is very good, was brought from public school, but very good guy in English and literature. So he was teaching us, I think, history, um, history or something. Yeah, he was teaching us history in school. So, and he speaks very fast, you know. So, he was talking about. He said, and it's very funny. So he will say, for example, he wants to talk about stress. You now say fagun. That's fagun in Yoruba is like stress. Do you get? So when you're talking about syllables, you're talking about stress. So, or he talks about it in terms of history. He says that our forefathers were monkeys inside the bush. So everybody will laugh, you know. And I remember one day somebody was laughing and the person didn't pronounce his full name. So the person just said Mr. Okpenaike. You know, he didn't mention the Okpenaike fully. So it sounded like Mr. Okpe. Do you get? And then the guy just said in Yoruba, but what it means is I'll explain. So it says Babe Okpe, meaning your father Okpe. Do you get my what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
Because
MG.
it's not that out there, it's like someone saying that, it's like someone saying
Yeah.
that, someone says roll, and then you say, are you okay? Your head is rolled. You didn't call me
Mm.
roller or something like that. So, how dare you call me roll? Are you my mate? Are you my best friend? You
Oh,
know, that is
MG.
the stuff. So, and that thing became a big deal in school that time. That they tagged that person that called him Okpe, Okpe, because in Yoruba, the truth is there's also there's also a tree named after that. You know when you want to shorten the name of Popo, you know, so Popo is like Okpe, you know, so, or something like that. I can't even remember whatever it is. But some people have that bias, you know, that there are some exclusive lists in conversation and interaction. You don't touch it, you don't go there. And sometimes it's passed down to people from time to time, from time to time. You know, I remember eating with my left hand many years ago, and I was doing that in front of some elderly people, and I almost got a slap. You know, that why would I eat with my left hand? It's wrong. It's this, it's that. You know, and it's not my fault. That's
Just
how
imagine that.
you know.
You know, there's a comment wrote to me that someone made here, and I think we should flash it on the screen. It's from Olushola Olumide. I think it's a very profound comment because it says in reprogramming people is more difficult than the initial programming, and it's true. The initial programming starts from childhood. I mean, and I know I used to I followed this man called Dr. Lipton, and he talked about this initial programming. He talks about the initial programming of kids a lot. You know, what you do with a child when a child is born to when they're 8 is significant to the
Mm,
outcomes of that child. Even there's a saying among the Jesuit priests in Catholicism. He says, "Give me a child before he's 8, and I'll make him a priest." Now, of course, it's not an absolute statement, but what they're trying to tell you is that I can program this person to be
yeah,
what I want him to be. Because it's
yeah.
anything. So I
Yeah.
reprogramming is difficult, and our culture, good as it is, as it says, has some way put people in a mold. And that's why social intelligence seems like the most difficult part of what Africans are capable of doing. That's something we adjust for when we move from our country to another, or we adjust for when we move from a workplace that doesn't typically look like our school systems,
Mm,
or when we're now having to learn new skills. Again, is that thing, for where I work currently, it's a flat organization. Flat meaning that look, we don't. Yes, there are bosses and all, but everybody
yeah.
interacts on the floor. Everybody's on a first name basis. There's no
First
Mr.
name
Mrs.
basis.
Everybody's wrote to Milgochi and everything. Even if he's the owner of the organization, everybody's first name. So
There's
when you
no
come
guy.
in, yeah, no Oga. She's the Oga, but there's no Oga because all of you are
Yeah,
going to be like, everybody's going to be having that conversation, and everybody is seen as an expert in their function. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm going to have to rely on you to say, do you agree? What are your thoughts? And it has to be a co-partnership, a top partnership. Now, many people come in with this mindset of, I have to tell my Oga. I can see. Can you review it? No, you need to challenge what your Oga has said because you are the expert for that function. So people come into that kind of workplace, and that's what workplace is becoming. So nobody wants to hire somebody who is not socially intelligent, who doesn't understand. Nobody really wants that. Look, it doesn't do anything for you anyway, because the person you need to make sure that everyone has as part of playing their roles in the organization is the experts there. That's the reason why you hire that person. You hire that person to be expert in that function, and so that person should be able to relate with you on a very cordial, respectful, in a diligent way, and then for all of you to come together for a solution, because we're all here really to solve problems or to create solutions or to innovate on stuff. And that's what is really affecting us, this whole concept of social intelligence. Because when you now know how to relate with others, then you get to know what they're not saying, what they're saying, and then you use it to build a team, which everybody knows that we can't do anything anymore in this world without collaboration, thought partnership, etc., and conflict resolution being one of the most important skills for today. So whilst we're teaching math and English and people are in university learning all the other things, and that's what apprenticeship system or the trade or vocational skills does for you. Which is why when we go back to the way we were in the past, look, this whole culture thing, we were better in the past. I don't want to go on a rant, but we're a lot better in the past, because I recall my grandparents and my grandma and my mom, and their relationship was quite different from what we're seeing today. I don't know, maybe I'm not a historian, but I don't know what happened there.
Oh, so thank you so much for that. I think it's just a wake-up call to everyone, that we need to do this in the best interest of in in the best interest of society, in the best interest of our children, in the best interest of our future. We need to make sure that we raise social intelligence youth, students, and Rhoda took a very good point at the fact that we might need to rediscover ourselves or discover ourselves the more, so that we are able to, be a plug in the wheel of progress rather than a clog in the wheel of progress. So sometimes we desire good, but we are standing in the way of good ourselves. So you've heard it all. I'm afraid this is where we might have to stop today because of time, but obviously we will still have great conversations like this across the week. We are always here Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I believe that as you join us and tell others to join us, we'll always learn. And please make sure that you try to watch the replay or send to other people, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Rhoda's channel, Safety Chicks channel, and follow us on all our platforms. Be a part of the work we're doing. We'd love to see you in person or see you all online. Let's take this conversation beyond the Good Morning Education Show. Let's take it into our workplace. Let's take it into our sphere of influence. Let's try to reach one and teach one till we make the world a better place. So at this point in time, I know that we have to go. And please don't forget, the School Safety Summit is taking place on the 22nd of May 2021, and try to be a part of it. Click on schoolsafetysummit.net to be a part of it. And of course, remember, Ugochi is still crowdfunding for our furtherance of our project and study. Please be a part of it. We encourage everyone out there to tell someone about it. And this is a good investment, a good support in the right direction. And of course, we will be starting the Business Accelerator Masterclass today. And of course, we're going to Benin next, and then Abuja, then Port Harcourt, then of course back to Lagos, and then we're going straight all the way to Calabar and Uyo and Ibadan and probably Kano as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please try to do something about all that we've shared today. Don't just keep the knowledge in, share the knowledge, apply the knowledge, and we'll have a better day. So until then, the ladies have something to say to you. Ladies, are you ready?
Yes.
Over to you.
It's always a great morning.
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning
Education Show.
Tell them. It's always a great morning. See you. Have a great week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.